Welcome to International Securities Exchange's podcast series. Facilitated by renowned educators, ISE podcasts are intended to teach beginning as well as seasoned investors the ins and outs of trading. To find an updated list of podcasts, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts. Please be sure to listen to our important message following this episode regarding the risks of investing in exchange-traded options.
Here's another one from Andrew. Don't you believe that as China continues to use the market to organize its economy, it will corrode the power of the regime? That's sort of the Milton Friedman thesis. What do you think, Jack?
I used to think that, and ultimately it may, but now would be now maybe one of those times given the pressures that we're going in here. But I'll tell you, I never underestimate the power of China to really control their populace. As I said, if we do something here and we know the authorities aren't going to like it, we know we put ourselves on the line. If you do something that's seen by the state in China as coercive, they destroy your entire family, and that's a very, very powerful motivator to keep people in line. And with their ability to control the internet now, it seems like the technology is giving them more ability to control their people in terms of less. And of course, the Western companies are selling them all the goods and all the technology in order to do that. I don't underestimate their power of keeping this game going. On the flip side, you can also say to their benefit, there's been hundreds of millions of people that have been lifted out of just total subsistence in China that are now eating and doing much better than they've done in the past. So there's an upside for those people, even in the regime they're in, to say, hey, we're doing pretty well here. Don't rock the boat, so to speak, on us. We'll figure it out ourselves. So there is that. There is that side of it that is true. A lot of people have improved their lives dramatically in China because of these policies.
Jack, I have a question. So this Chinese blog, Michael Pettis, he's at Peking University. Why would the Chinese allow him to do this, that he's at Peking University? Why wouldn't they just get rid of him?
I have no idea, Steve.
Oh, okay.
It's really...
If he's writing things...
He's part of the Carnegie Endowment there. He's, not saying anything really subversive per se, but I think he's being very, very straightforward with his analysis. Not to say that doesn't go on in China, but it's rare to see it. He's not necessarily criticizing China per se. He's staying out of the politics. He's being more focused on the economy, and that's probably how he's getting away with it. Or his blog is based somewhere outside of China on some server that they can't block. Maybe that could be possible.
They could make it difficult, right, if he's at Peking University.
Yeah, I would think they would find out pretty quickly.
Jack, do you have any closing comments? I think you answered all the questions. I just want to put up ways that all the attendees can contact you. The info@blackswantrading.com. You could send email to Jack, and also the website. So then you'll actually be able to see that at the end of the presentation. Jack, do you have any closing comments?
Other than just to say, I just wanted to make the point how powerful China is in terms of all our investment markets, especially on the currency side. And just keep an eye on this because I think the pressures again are just building inside of China in the pressures externally. So just continue to watch the headline news of what China does. To get a sense that there's more risk building out there, or not. And I think if you just monitor that in and of itself, it'll help you. Really evaluate where you are in terms of your investments, because it's just the driver of everything now.
Makes sense, Jack. What I love is the scenarios. I think it just makes it easier. Put them in, for lack of a better word, silos where, okay, it's here, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. Obviously, there are other things that could be occurring, but you gave us some of the most plausible scenarios and then, what you could do. So all the attendees could sort of watch for themselves. Of course, they could get the currency currents to stay even more current each and every day. But, I mean, I think that...
Yeah, we watch China pretty closely. And as I mentioned that foreign policy article in Foreign Affairs last month, I would suggest anybody that has a deeper interest in China get and read that. It was written from a gentleman from the American Enterprise Institute. It was, in China for a while, a scholar, and he is just stunned to see the way they're unraveling the reforms in democracy in there and consolidating power. And you're seeing the belligerence, as I said, now towards India in the background. That's why we thought this whole BRIC meeting was just kind of laughable, because the Indians and the Chinese may be at war very, very soon. So that whole backing up of the reforms and consolidating of the companies inside China is really leading to their political belligerence. And they've sent some messages to the U.S. already: stay out of Iran, don't get involved in this. So they're starting to be very, 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 very aggressive externally, and that to me is part of their reason to start trashing the dollar. They want to shake up the U.S. a little bit financially here, because they're not benefiting them from the U.S. consumer the way they were. So, watch the politics, not just the economics.
Jack, one other question. John has, I guess we overlooked his question. He says, is the yuan backed by gold reserves? Do you have any data? We don't have time to go back and get a data chart on China's gold reserves for the last 5 years, but
no, it's not.
No,
it's not backed by gold reserves. And Steve, I have a couple minutes to answer that real quick.
Yes,
two minutes.
Yes.
One of the things people say about China, and you have to be careful of this too, that as the Chinese get richer and richer, they're going to buy more and more gold, and gold's just going to explode in price. As I said before, there's capital controls on China, and the Chinese buy gold now and bury it for safety. But if China's economy continues to reform and they take capital controls off, you could see a lot of that gold come out of the ground and move into a lot of different assets offshore, U.S. dollars, euros, British pounds, stocks, bonds, whatever. So be careful of this idea that as China continues to get wealthier, that gold has to go up in price. No currency in the world is backed by gold anymore, not even close.
Yeah, that makes sense. We're in a fiat currency world, I guess, right, Jack?
It's all about credit, that's right. How much paper can we create?
Well, Jack, I want to thank you. I'm getting some amazing comments. People loved it. I would recommend that you at least sign up for the free Currency Currents, and then you ascertain if it makes sense to jump aboard the Currency Strategist. But obviously, Jack has some insights that a lot of other folks don't have. So please at least sign up for the free daily global macro, and you can learn more and more about what's going on. So thanks again, Jack. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it.
Just wanted to remind everyone that next week we'll have Mike Tusaw talking about hedging using IC currency options, and we had a question about non-directional trades. Mike will be back on July 21st, and the presentation is titled "The FX Condor Flies Again," and really what that's saying is that, yes, we've had a lack of volatility over the last 4 or 5 months. For those of you that believe that will continue, this will be a great presentation. However, you always got to remember that we haven't seen a move in a long time, so you need to balance the risk and reward. But so we have plenty coming up. Steve Mizik, Jack will be back numerous times. I want to thank Jack Crooks for spending a lot of his time today, and then even more so putting this presentation together. It gave us tremendous insight into what's going on in the world and what China's doing, and some plausible scenarios. Of course, Jack doesn't have all the definitive answers, but there are plausible scenarios. And please, you can go to Jack's website, blackswantrading.com, and get his global macro. So thanks again, Jack.
Thanks a lot, Steve. You have a good night. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks. You too, Jack. On the behalf of the ISC, this is Steve Meisinger, your host, saying have a great trading day tomorrow, and please join us again next week where Mike Tusaw will be back. We have more and more guests coming, and if you want to listen to this presentation again, you can go to the archives, www.isc.com/archives, and you can listen to this presentation again. So thank you so much. Have a safe trading day tomorrow. Again, this is your host, Steve Meisinger from the ISC, saying have a great night. Bye now.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. To find more podcasts on options, stocks, alternative markets, and market data, please visit www.isc.com/podcasts.